reviewed Mrs. Deb Worley as my leadership role model, comparing it to Cowles and Posner's leadership model presented in their leadership challenge. I chose Mrs. Worley for several reasons, the first being her personality. We have very similar personalities in that we are soft-spoken, we do not command attention, and actually turn away from attention. We are passionate about our beliefs, but we are not flamboyant and not vocal, and we are very similar in our beliefs in that we are all here to spread the gospel and gain salvation for others. The difference with Mrs. Worley that I find extremely comforting is that she takes her quiet comfort personality and surrounds people in the United Redeemed Church and uses this superpower to encourage people to be themselves. And that's okay to be who they are in Christ, as she encourages this through the lens of what Christ commanded, to treat others the way you wish to be treated. She encourages people not by commanding what they are supposed to do, but guiding them in what they should do. According to Cowles and Posner's leadership model presented in their book, The Leadership Challenge, Model the Way, the number one of the 5 practices of exemplary leadership is leaders set example by acting according to their values. They establish clear principles and demonstrate the behaviors they expect from others. I saw this demonstrated by Mrs. Worley in the way that she acts out her values as dictated in the Bible. Mrs. Worley uses biblical principles of loving thy neighbor even when thy neighbor is not lovable. Mrs. Worley uses biblical principles of rising to the occasion and reaching out to help others, never asking for a thank you or accolades, and as such, she is responsible for, as I call it, herding chickens to get them all moving in the way of Jesus. She uses volunteers to coordinate and establish Bible studies and ladies' retreats. And as you know, their volunteers' only incentive is that they want to be there. They want to help others and they want to encourage others. And as such, volunteers tend to all have their own ideas about what they want to contribute and how they want to contribute. I see Mrs. Worley day after day encouraging others to bring their best self forward by using biblical principles of loving thy neighbor. People who are most difficult to get along with, people who only show up to get accolades and attention, and basically just to check the box of showing up, if you will. Mrs. Worley has a way of encouraging others to move forward and to help, even if they don't feel obligated. The second principle in the leadership challenge is to inspire a shared vision. Leaders create an exciting vision for the future and communicate it in such a way that motivates others to help, to join the team, to see themselves as not just individual contributors, but to support a team all moving towards a common goal. Mrs. Worley excels at this, especially when her volunteers' goals are different than those of her own. She aids the ladies in the United Redeemed Church in seeing the big picture, and the big picture for us is salvation, spreading the gospel so that all may be saved, or at least all may hear it and make a choice. Mrs. Worley started her ministry as the church secretary after holding numerous positions in the secular field. She knew in her heart that she wanted to minister to ladies as she wanted to spread the gospel in a way that was welcome to those who otherwise would not have the ability to hear the gospel or the opportunity to accept Jesus. The interesting part about Mrs. Worley's contribution to United Redeemed Church is she's the only female on staff at the church. And additionally, her husband is an elder in the church. I asked her if it was difficult to work with an all-male staff and living with an elder. If she finds that she is respected and honored and her ideas are welcomed and implemented, she wholeheartedly stated that the men of United Redeemed Church and the faculty and staff treat her with the utmost respect. They challenge her ideas as she in turn challenges theirs. Each of them rise to the occasion in respectfully bringing to fruition a vision of the future of our church. Depending on what they are trying to implement, at times she is the leader and the men are the followers, especially when it comes to implementing a ladies' Bible study. And then at times she is a follower and the men on staff are the leaders, such as deciding what the congregation is going to hear as far as the gospel is concerned, or the teachings on any given Sunday. We all have a place in the congregation, and as such, the staff each has a place in contributing to the future and the success of United Redeemed Church. Thankfully, the staff, all male and one female, all are moving towards a common goal with love and respect, following biblical principles. I think this embodies well the third item in the 5 practices of exemplary leadership, where it's challenging the process. Biblically, or in biblical times, women were support as far as ministry is concerned. The apostles were all men. There were women followers who cared for the apostles, such as Mary Magdalene, but overall, the apostles were men. And this is sort of the way our church is today. Most of the leaders are men. However, women are contributing in their talents and their gifts, and they are respected. And I'm thankful to say that United Redeemed Church respects everybody, no matter what their gender. The 4th principle of enabling others to act fits very well with Mrs. Worley's personality. Mrs. Worley is a quiet force to be reckoned with, and what I mean by that is she displays self-control, kindness, faithfulness, and goodness all the time. These are some of the fruit of the Spirit, and she never wavers in displaying these. She has a way of building trust in herself so that others will follow. She also has a way of allowing others to build self-assurance, showing that she trusts others to make sound, solid decisions no matter what they're working on. She also empowers others to execute flawlessly because of their knowledge and what they bring to the table, not based on a title or based on a salary. It's based on a desire to serve and the knowledge accrued through other processes, all again with the common goal of spreading the gospel. It is true that strong leaders develop the abilities and confidence of those around them, and this is one of Mrs. Worley's superpowers. Our church is diverse in that it ranges from the very young to the very not so young, and each person that Mrs. Worley works with, or mentors, or leads, or counsels is touched by Mrs. Worley's ability to encourage. Mrs. Worley builds confidence in those around her by focusing on the positive and eliminating the negative. Finally, encourage the heart is the 5th point of leadership model, and what that means to me is finding what matters to a person and encouraging them to follow it. Mrs. Worley definitely displays this. Women come with all types of contributions, willing to give to our church, but if allowed to go unmonitored or unfettered, if you will, it would be chaotic. Mrs. Worley has a way of determining what is important to each individual and allowing them to bring that to the table with confidence and support, entrusting the leadership to surround them with love and implement tasks that feed into the common goal of United Redeemed Church. The weakness that Mrs. Worley has is the continuation of her role after she retires. She has built up a wealth of knowledge in how to manage the leadership, the women's leadership in United Redeemed Church. And yes, retirement is right around the corner. But as she stated, how do you retire and give up something that you love so passionately? She needs a continuity plan. She needs to build trust in the future leaders of United Redeemed Church. And building out a retirement plan and a continuity plan focused on the strengths of the young people that she is mentoring is key. She needs to develop a playbook, if you will, that outlines all of her responsibilities, when they need to be executed, but not necessarily how, because there's new talent coming up. And she is in the process of developing and of identifying and developing that new talent. Her strength is also her weakness. Her love for people and her job is her strength. Her weakness is that love is going to be making it hard to give up. I thoroughly enjoyed interviewing Mrs. Worley. I enjoyed writing the paper about her strengths and weaknesses, and I've learned so much through this process. I thank you for the opportunity to make this video, and that's also stretched my ability as well. Have a great summer.